and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, my retired sidekick. What's poppin', Berk? How you feeling today?
Today's the last day, buddy.
It's the last day?
This is it.
It's all over?
Hanging them up.
We're wrapping it up?
No, I mean, you're the host. You do whatever you deem is necessary.
All right, I mean, it's just all over.
Yeah,
Where are you going, back Pittsburgh?
Oh, I don't know.
Ohio?
Pittsburgh's nice this time of year.
It really is.
Never go to Ohio.
It's not 120 over there.
No. Most it gets is like 96 with 100% humidity.
Humid as fuck.
I don't have hair. What do I care?
You don't even know about this life, Guapo.
No.
You actually don't.
I mean, I'm a little familiar. I spent a little time in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Where?
It was called Newtown, Pennsylvania, I think. Like a college town, I think.
This sounds
close,
made up.
It's close. No. It's really called Newtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it close to?
I know we were like an hour away from
Old Town,
Ocean View,
Right.
Delaware, and Ocean City, Maryland.
In Bucks County.
Ocean City, Maryland.
Bucks County. Yeah, that's what it is. It's in Bucks County.
Hold on. It was an hour from Ocean City, Maryland?
Or I remember it was relatively close. Maybe it was
4
2 hours. I can't
4.5
remember.
hours?
We had driven like 3 days, so anything closer than like 1 or 2 hours was like a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah. No part of PA, I don't think, is that close to Ocean City.
No, it is not.
It's like 4 hours probably.
Yeah, it's like probably like looks like an hour and a half away from Philly.
Yeah,
So,
and then Philly's probably about 2 hours
yeah.
or so from Ocean City.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, you tried. You were in the southernmost eastern part
Yeah,
of
it's only been
PA.
about 24 years, but yeah.
What were you doing there? Road
It was
tripping?
bartending.
Just
Yeah, I just wanted to get away for the summer.
and you ended up in Newtown,
Summers are
Pennsylvania.
notoriously slow here in Vegas.
you ended up in Newtown.
I was working at Spago at Caesar's Palace.
I got to tell you, are summers popping in Newtown, Pennsylvania?
No, we just stopped there for a little while before we went to Ocean City, Maryland. So we were going to spend the summer in Ocean City, Maryland, but we stopped there because the person I was dating had family.
Right. This is before you went to work at Secrets.
Yeah.
And you were no longer dating that person because Secrets is a party.
Oh no, yeah, we were still dating.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
she was
you know.
dating the rest of Ocean City too.
Yeah. we both had fun.
Sure. Shout out to oh my gosh, the white on orange is like impossible to read here. It looks like Noah Manoff. Oh, Marianoff. So this is for my boy Conrad's Coffee. Hit him with a super chat for $20. Thank you, Noah.
Oh, nice.
Appreciate
Thank you, homie.
That's
Why
an
would they-
expensive ass coffee.
it. Bro,
Yeah, shout out to
that's
Eric.
two now.
Eric gave me
He's not
$20
cheap.
yesterday for Korean barbecue. So thank you, sir.
did you enjoy your Korean barbecue?
Yeah, it was good.
I'm glad we're just like skirting around the bigger issue at hand here, which is that
That you're retired?
I'm retired, and there are a lot of legends still left in day 6 of the main event who have the dream of a life that they can someday retire as well. And I have to tell you, man, like I forgot what you sign up for when you play this game for a living. Like, you sign up for fucking pain. Like, I was just in the living room yesterday, just sitting in the fetal position, just Landon looking at me like as if there was something wrong, and I'm just going, I'm in pain. I'm in so much pain right now.
It's those dog Nutter Butter cookies that you're eating.
No, those are good.
All right.
That's what saved him.
Those are bussin' for real. Like, that's a nice D-tilt snack.
All right.
You know
You
what's
know?
nice? The detail when you're just laying on that couch and then Pip just comes up on you, lays up on you.
No,
No, it didn't work for you?
not last night. No,
Didn't work? She didn't even come up to you?
no, she did. She tried.
Oh.
I appreciate the effort. Tortoise and Poo Dog are not okay. They've passed away. Sorry, R.I.P. The Tort got COVID, so we're keeping him quarantined. Or I should say, his girlfriend got COVID, and he doesn't feel well. So therefore, by
He
proxy, he has COVID. And,
GG Tortoise.
we will keep him away.
Goodbye, Turtle.
Goodbye, Turtle. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of hopium still in the air. God, I'm so jealous of everybody who has hope.
Me too.
What was that like, Landon? What's it like to have hope?
It's been so long.
Powerful thing.
Yeah, it looks like a powerful. Why is the microphone at your nose? Thank you. Maybe even just a smidge lower would be great.
People, I have the broken one.
No, it's not
There's
broken.
nothing broke about that. You can just
No,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
just-
the
you know.
actual microphone head, the head of the microphone, Landon. Just tilt it down a little. There you go. Wonderful.
Wow.
Good job.
Wow. Would
I'm
you
proud
look
of
at-
you.
See?
I meant just in general. Oh, you fixed. This is the good one. This is the good one now.
Bro, you've had that mic for a month.
No, not a month. No.
What do you think, Guap? About a month?
It's been a few weeks.
Since the start of the summer, maybe?
No.
It's definitely been a few weeks.
No, I'm
'cause-
talking about this thing right here.
Listen, it was the last time Pooh Dog was here. So when's the last time Pooh Dog was here? Because that's when I changed
Well
the mic.
over a month. Well over a month.
Sure.
Probably
Give him
about
a
5 weeks, actually.
Yeah, she strong-armed it and broke it.
If I had to guess.
Inhumane strength.
Roughly hitting the 5 week mark.
We need to get that sponsorship before I turn this label around.
That'd probably be a good one. I'm sure Ghost pays well.
They power
I
this
can-
podcast.
I can walk
It's true.
to their office. I'm just gonna like go knock on the door and be like, listen, man,
I'm retired.
I'm retired, and like that may not be appealing to you, but I'm your biggest customer as well. Okay, like
Well, that's why you're not going to get the sponsorship.
No, this is my pivot, man. I'm gonna move into becoming a Ghost rep. This is my new career, and I'm fucking here for it. All right, let's get to some tournament poker before we discuss my ultimate demise. All of the wonderful hopefuls out there that are still doing the damn thing. Chris Moon, one of our former Academy attendees from Michigan, a good friend of ours, he won the 1K online Hold'em Championship.
Let's go.
When was this?
This was 3 nights ago. Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was Tuesday.
Okay.
He shipped this one for $139,000, beating Joe Kuther heads up. Big shout out to Joe Kuther. Did a little skiing with him while I was snowboarding. He was skiing. He's an animal. Just full beard. No winter garb, if you will, just full whiteout in the beard itself.
Oh,
Quite an impressive.
Chris has a cool name. Me
Go ahead.
versus Discord.
I like that.
That's dope.
I like that. That's actually quite the fitting name, to be honest. Another legend of the game who took one down, Mr. Brock Wilson, ships the 2K at the Wynn.
What a goat.
$626,000 for a fucking 2K.
It was
What a
2K,
fucking
yeah.
goat, man. This kid's so good.
Pretty
He's very
massive.
good.
He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And he's just also a nice kid. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's quite good. He's fun to chat with,
Yep.
and he is just continually racking up scores over $500,000. It's kind of crazy because, like, as somebody who came up during the boom, I don't think people really like follow the timeline of poker all that closely. Like, I think everybody now, and when I say everybody, I'm talking about Landon, but I think everybody now just assumes it's always been this, I guess, like, bustling industry where there were endless tournaments to choose from. All the prize pools were swollen. You could play cash if you wanted to play cash, but like it was really easy to get MTT action.
Yeah.
That really wasn't the case. Like, coming up, if you wanted to play for $500,000 or more, you had to play a 10K. And the only people running 10Ks were WPT. So it's like there was the World Poker Tour, and then there was the Summer WSOP. And yes, those prize pools were astronomical.
Yeah.
Right?
And people are bad.
And people were terrible. The WPT championship back in the day, when Chino won it, it was a 25K buy-in. I think first was like 2.4 million or something like that. Now we have 25Ks every summer where first is 2.4 million. We don't
Shit.
bat a fucking eye at it.
5 or 6 of them.
It's crazy, man. It's just like, I think back to those times, LAPC used to be 1.7 million to first for a 10K. The Wynn just had a fucking 10K a week and a half ago that I almost didn't bother going to. That was 2.4 million to first. Like, we are surpassing poker boom numbers with MTTs, but
Inflation.
inflation's part of it, of course. But the bigger issue, or not issue, sorry, let me rephrase. The bigger bullet point here is not only are we surpassing prior prize pools during the actual poker boom, but the saturation of the MTT market is 1,000x what it used to be. Like in the early 2000s, 2003 to 2008 ish, there was no mid stakes poker tour, right? Like if you wanted to play buy-ins less than 5K, you had to go to exactly the Borgata or Foxwoods, and it was a part of a prelim schedule for their WPT stops, right? So like Turning Stone was the only place that I can think of off the top of my head that ran an entire series that catered to people who didn't play 10Ks. So all of us young kids would go there, ranging from like 18 to 25, and we would play an entire like 30 event schedule where all the buy-ins were like sub 5K.
I mean, that's where all the high stakes players now started.
Pretty much.
Like I just remember looking at old handed mobs from like Chewy, Kuhn, yada yada, whatever, and it was all just like Turning Stone 400, like Turning Stone 200. That's where they started.
It was the craziest. Man, I wish there was a way to like time capsule this so you guys could actually understand what it was like.
It was really like one of the only places on the East Coast that ran tournaments at the time, right? Other than Borgata?
Well, it was one of the only places on the East Coast that ran tournaments catering to this to this buy-in level, right? Like Borgata and Foxwoods were booming back then, but their tournament schedule was wrapped around WPT.
Okay. Right,
so WPT 10K would come into town, and then they did a great job, by the way. Like you would get like 15, 20 events, and they were massive. My first final table at Borgata was a $500 buy-in, and I think first place was like 190,000 or 200,000, something like that. Like insane.
That's sick.
Just insane, you know. But like, you know, my first ever final table was at Turning Stone. It was a 1K where first place was like 65,000.
Okay.
And we chopped it like 6 ways. I think I got like 18K out of it. But I wish there was a way that I could help you guys. Like I wish I could paint the picture better. But just imagine like the vast majority of every known player now, only they're between 18 and 23, and they're all in the same room. Bryn Kenny, Jason Kuhn, Ike, Seaver, Doc Sands, myself, Brent.
Bicknell
was there. Yeah. Now Chrissy Foxon. Yeah. Every one of us. I mean, there were hundreds of us, like 200, 300, 400 players, all yellow sub 86. You guys don't even know about him. Fucking legend. Justin Schwartz, Stealth Monk. He was at every one of them. Like,
no handshakes.
Action Jeff. You guys don't even know about Action Jeff. Bro, you don't know about Action Jeff. Action Jeff showed up on steroids. Fucking showed up on steroids, bro. You don't even know.
Action Jeff reminds me of Jeff Areno.
Below Above was in there. Like, you don't even know about it. All of these guys. Like, I was playing a 5-5-10 game. I remember I wrote a blog. I wish I'd put it somewhere where it didn't die. It was on Donkeyfish, I think, and now it's gone forever. But I wrote a trip report from our second trip to Turning Stone. This was like 2005, I think. And the 5-5-10 game I was playing was literally all people who play high rollers now. It was like me, Bryn, Ike, Jason was there, whatever, Doc Sands. Like it was just this litany of people who ended up making it, you know. Yeah. And this like just doesn't exist. It exists now, but the difference is that all the young up and comers like yourself are intertwined with all the old guard that have made it. Mm-hmm. Right? There's no barrier any longer. Yeah. You guys are just fucking. You're good. You're in. You know. That's just it. Like Timestamp Bro goes from doing timestamps to fucking playing 10Ks overnight. And like just in the mix. Sure. There's no onboarding process. There's no Turning Stone to like have everybody kind of it honestly felt as close to like a young poker conference as you could ever imagine exists.
It's weird because now like the training ground is just playing online.
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
and it was then too. All these kids were online guys.
Well, it's not even just like playing online, like online MTTs, but playing online like versus the trainer. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, before you go play tournaments that are worth your time or worth your time for like a backing deal perspective, you're going to learn how to play perfect 20 big blind poker.
Yeah.
And then you're going to learn 30.
Yeah.
And then you're going to learn 40.
Right.
And now you're going to go play your 1100s, your 3Ks, and you're going to see
have
how
a
you
win
do.
Rate, and you're just going to go wreck.
You're probably going to win, but you're probably going to like make some mistakes here and there. And then you're going to do that for about a year. And then you're going to score somewhere because you're pretty good at poker at this point.
Right.
And then you're going to play 10Ks.
Yeah. But yes. And with all of that, though, it's so much more isolated. Like, that was the most that like small window from like 03 to 08, maybe even like 03 to 2010, because you know, the two years that I had moved to Vegas from 08 to 2010, it still kind of felt this way, especially at the World Series. But that was the most a part of a community that I've ever felt in my entire 21, 22 year career.
When all the young people would be at the same stops?
Yeah, because it was so concentrated. You didn't have other options to go to. People weren't all over the place. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I live on the East Coast, so I'm going to go to Seminole. I live on the West Coast, so I'm going to go to Hustler or Commerce or whatever. You know what I mean? Everybody was at the same stops, right? Like, you just saw the same faces every single place.
That is kind of how, like, I guess Florida looks every couple months.
Not really.
Not the same?
I don't think a lot of the West Coast travels there.
Wow.
I think like the hardcore grinders do. Go ahead.
Shout out to Kayvon. He said, Berkey just needs to play the 50K today. That's how the story starts. No. He was going to quit poker, and then he just wins the 50K.
Man, you're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your mind. I've lost so much money in the last 2 days. I don't ever want to be dealt in again. And like, it's all relative. Like, relatively speaking, I didn't lose that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even think you're down that much.
No, but I lost all my summer profits.
No,
and
that hurts so much.
In a 100-200 game, like going on a 200K downswing in 30 hours is more than I can fucking stomach right now. Even though it's like the 10th time it's happened.
Yeah, it hurts because it's the 10th time.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get into the details or?
Yeah. That's okay. We'll get there. Don't worry. I
just want to know if you bluffed it off or
God
you
no.
just got cooled off.
God, so much worse. I wish if I bluffed it off, I'd be so happy right now. I'd be so happy. And if I got straight like coolered, I'd also be so fine with it. That is just not at all what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with bridge equity.
Because he made a fold.
We're dealing with bridge equity. It's not just a fold. I also misplayed a hand pretty badly where I didn't fold.
Okay.
But anyway, the main event I think is maybe like the one lone event that remains where you see this culmination of all the personalities left in the industry, big and small. You know, we saw Ivy on the main stage. We saw Jason Kuhn in the mix. We saw a lot of young up-and-comers getting a little bit of airtime.
Fucking Scott doing everything.
Who?
Seaver.
Okay.
Doing absolutely everything. Also final table in the 10K.
Not in the main event, though. But yeah. He final tabled the 10K online event, which will count as his biggest online score for Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
So this one's big. Final table plays out, I believe, the 15th of July.
Friday. It's Friday, whatever Friday is.
Yeah. So a lot of legends at that final table. Seaver made it. Dan Moore made it.
Joey the Baby.
The Baby made it. There was one other.
Yeah, there's one more. Hold on. Oh, Bemba.
Yeah,
fucking Bemba.
Of course. Shout out to Ben Lamb. In the mix. He made the final table at the 10K, so it'll be fun to play down.
Man, you would never have your backyard if it wasn't for Bemba.
No, I would never have my pool.
Oh, your pool.
Shout out Bemba. Appreciate that, man. I do appreciate that. I do notice that when I have big wins, I just like add on to my house.
Yeah. Smart.
It's interesting. It's all coming together for me never to leave my home again. I, in my older age, am going to turn into Brent Hanks at 27.
Oh,
you guys have the legend of Hanks.
Well, we've heard about it, you know, going to tournament stops just to play online and stuff like that.
He's such a sloth. Always has been, man. It was remarkable. But yeah, he was a part of like that online crew too back in the day. So a lot of those guys have actually, you know, found a lot of success here in the main event. As I mentioned prior, Chrissy Foxon, she's in the mix. She's a little bit above average, I believe.
Nice.
With what's left of 160 remain. I think she's like 40th in chips. We got Joe Sirac, Flows in the mix. He was a part of that. I mean, he was a little bit later, kind of like maybe 2008, 2009-ish time frame, but like he's been in the mix for a while. Jonathan Tamayo. You guys don't even know about Jonathan Tamayo and his fucking khakis, baby. You're going to see him on the main stage at some point, I promise you.
He's the best.
Ren Len still in the mix. Nick Howard in the mix. You guys all know about Dog Food Boy. He can join me with some cookies. I'm going to bring some fucking pup snacks to his rail. Make sure he's fueled
the puppy
up.
butter.
Wow,
That's
the
right.
GOAT is still in.
Alex Keating?
No, Joe Tehan.
Yeah.
The goat.
Oh, the actual goat.
The actual fucking goat.
Joe Tien is still in. He has about 4 million in chips.
Tony Dunstan there.
Tony Dunstan's in the mix. Landon has a swap, so that's great. We were talking about Tien, and we're all cheering him on. And people want to know if we have a piece or if I had a piece, and the answer is no. But the whole room in Bobby's room has a piece.
Peace for life.
I think if Tien final tables it, we can finally start playing 2-4. I might come out of retirement for that, for what it's worth. Rasty got a nice stack. He's 21st in chips, 6.3 million. That is a name to watch coming down the stretch here.
Rast versus Seaver. Seaver wins 4 bracelets, but Rast wins the main
event.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'd feel a little bit better about it if he did end up shipping it, because at least then my pre-summer predictions wouldn't be that terrible whenever I was weighing the two of them against each other. Not that Rast has had a slouch of a summer. I think he got 2nd in the 25K PLO and then 7th in the 50K PLO.
I have no idea.
Back-to-back final tables in that. That's pretty impressive, to say the least.
It's weird when someone does good summer, but someone just has like the greatest summer of all time.
Right. Which is pretty much Seaver and Osmus right now. Chance climbing up the mix in the the rankings. I guess he has 3 final tables, right?
Yeah, he was
2 high rollers and a bracelet win.
He was talking about
the
flip and go. No, he's
just
one. The flip and go.
He got second to
Sergio.
Second and fourth in the high rollers.
He got second to Sergio.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was talking about like what was he gonna play today?
Look at Franny up there.
I mean,
let's go, Franny.
How?
Look, once you scroll past 3, they're drawing dead.
Oh yeah, Francis won a bracelet. I remember this.
Yeah. But like Chance is barely within striking distance with so few events left to play. Although he doesn't have an online score yet. I don't think there might not be any left though.
So is Yuri.
Is there one more 5K?
Online?
I thought there was.
I don't think. We've already played 3.
Okay.
I feel like 3's the limit for online 5Ks.
That's no limit.
I'll
I mean, it was a
take
10K.
No, there definitely isn't, because the last one was called the 5K championship.
Okay.
And yesterday was the 10K championship, which I didn't get a chance to play. But leading the way is Big Field Bruiser himself, Steven Song.
Go Steven.
What a
just going wire to wire, back to back days, chip leading. He's got 12.3 million.
Go Steven and Carlos.
The kid's just the best. Who the fuck is Carlos?
New York cash reg.
Is the man who broke Adrian Mateos still in?
Yes, he is. That's the guy with King Queen suited.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
Monkey.
That's Monkey.
Yeah.
if you guys remember, Landon didn't join us a couple days ago after the bubble, but there was a player at his table who does not give a fuck about ICM, and for that we salute you, sir.
Yeah, it was iconic.
He was just shitting on everybody. He ended up getting a bunch of big blinds in with King Queen high on Jack 9x 2 hearts. He had King Queen of spades.
He value jammed over a bet on flop.
Yeah. Just held versus the King 10 of hearts.
Hannah was absolutely mortified. He was just like,
as he should be. And you know what that butterfly effect led to?
Him ravaging Mateos.
Just absolutely fucking Mateos.
All right, so we have not today, tomorrow. There is a 3,200 online.
Are you serious?
Are you dumb?
Can you let a fucking bit run out before you just interrupt?
It ran.
Oh, really? Did they hear about the hand where Mateos lost?
Well, they're about to.
Yes, they were about to, Conrad.
And now they're not.
Great, 3,200 online. No one watching cares. Nobody plays online. Online's dead.
You just said that there was no more.
I said there's no more 5Ks. All right, so the hand of the tournament. Well, this was the first hand leading up to it, I guess. So this hand was quite interesting. Played between, I can't read the screen. God, this is so
Josh
small.
Berry and Mateos.
We just can't put videos in this thing. It's too small.
It's not a video. It was a picture.
It's just a screenshot.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No video.
We can't put that in there either.
Yeah, we can't put that in there either. Okay, so it's Josh Berry who opened Under the Gun, I believe, or Under the Gun 1. Oh, no. I'm looking at it now. Oh, wow, this was a hijack open. So it was a hijack open. They were both 200 big blinds effective, which is fucking insane when you think about it. So at the time, I guess they were 1 and 2 in chips. Mateos 3-bets him on the button with 2 kings. Barry then 4-bets. Mateos calls. Queen 4 deuce 2 diamonds. Neither has a diamond, so it's black aces versus king of spades, king of hearts. Barry bets like third pot there, I think. Mateos calls. Turn 10 of spades. Now putting out 2 broadways, queen 10, 4 deuce with 2 diamonds. And Barry goes for kind of like a middle-ish size. I think he goes like 66 here on the turn, where I think 2E was roughly that. So I think he was like geosizing here. And I don't know how he finds a fold here. Like,
He said no.
it's just like so above the rim, because it kind of goes back to the discussion that we were having yesterday or the day before. I can't remember.
Yesterday.
Where like you just have to keep going through the question of, am I making money in this node? You know, like how likely am I to be getting bluffed or have better value than his 4-bet range? And it's like when he 4-bets and goes bet, setting up for river all in, what are we hoping for?
Ace queen off.
No, never, right?
What do you mean never? I mean, in theory, it's a good
think it has
4-bet.
to, yeah, but you think it has to find a check somewhere.
No, you have an ace and a queen.
But you're 1 and 2 in chips in the main event.
I don't even think it would 4-bet here.
But that's the point, right? Like if he's playing this in like a 25K or like a high roller and gets 3-bet like at the start of the turn or 4-bet at the start of the tournament, like kings don't fold here, you know?
Of course.
So it's like, does he think this guy has ace queen enough?
Wow, you've changed a lot of parameters here. It's not the start of the tournament. It's not a 25K
but like
high
the
roller.
ICM isn't like huge here. You know, like there's still, like he said in the interview, like there's 100 or 200 some people left. Like you're still far.
But
he's
you
just
have
like
200 big blinds, and you're threatening to play a 400 big blind pot. This is unheard. The reason why you can't compare apples to apples with a high roller is because there's no scenario where there's any ICM implications that two people would be this deep. The structure just doesn't allow for it. Like there's no world where there would be like 13 left and 1 and 2 in chips are 200 big blinds effective.
No, but like if you're seeing the spot from like a chips perspective, because you're still so far away with like some inherent ICM value, you know, ace queen off is still going to 4-bet sometimes, but he doesn't think it happens enough.
Yeah, fair.
And that's
I
like,
guess
that simple.
Well, I guess my point with the ace queen off is if you do 4-bet it, you think that you find a check somewhere because what are you extracting value from?
Maybe river king queen suited.
Man, we're
Queen
really stretching here. 4-bet pots, ace queen off versus king queen suited in the
It's
fucking main
hijack
event.
button for 200. Like you would 3-bet king queen suited sometimes.
Not in the main
Yeah,
event
and I would
with-
fold to
But
a
saying
4-bet.
not in the main is just like being a pussy.
No,
I mean, say what
no,
you
it's
want.
not.
Say
It's
whatever
just
the
like
fuck you
playing
want, man.
playing the event for what it is. Like there's a lot. Like Adrian's stack at that point is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of like 150K. Which, yeah, sure, that's not 10 million, but it's worth considering, right? Like you still have to navigate 5 days, and playing a 400 big blind pot doesn't like better help you do that unless you're certain.
But who says you're playing a 400 big blind pot?
Well, there's going to be like, you know, less than 1 SPR going to the river, and now you're already playing a 200 big blind pot.
I just mean when you 3-bet, you don't auto get 4-bet.
I understand that. We're talking about once we arrive to the flop.
He just thinks the guy has queens or aces. It's that simple.
I understand that.
I'm saying ace queen off in a vacuum should exist. So you can't fold the turn, but he's folding the turn because he doesn't think he has it.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I
doesn't
think
exist,
it's
though.
pretty fair for me to say I think ace queen checks the street.
I don't
Like, I don't think I'm being unreasonable
I think it would
here.
check river.
I think it's also fair to say that ace queen wouldn't 4-bet pre.
Right, like yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's
what you're
almost
saying
absurd
is
what
what
you're
you're saying
saying.
is reasonable, but it's just like I mean, you know, we have to deduce it from a logical perspective. It's like if you're at the bottom of your range, you 4-bet the bottom of your range, you flop top, but you're facing resistance. Like I would just assume at some point you go passive. At some point you don't have a value hand any longer, and I think that's what Adrian's perspective is too. It's like, what am I extracting value from? I'm only beating bluffs. It's not you're not value catching anymore. Right?
You're bluff catching.
It depends if you think he has ace, because ace queen can just go bet check or something along those lines. Because you're still getting called by flush draws from Adrian. Like Adrian's not just going to start folding like suited ace wheels.
Right.
You know, he's not going to start folding like hands that have a lot of equity, like king jack of diamonds. Like who knows if he 3-bets or plays the 4-bet pot, you know? But saying like he only like saying Adrian only 3-bets kings.
No, of course that's not the case.
Okay, then.
It's that we land post in a spot where it is a 4-bet pot. So he's chosen to defend versus a 4-bet. He's chosen to defend versus a C-bet on queen 4 deuce. And now the SPR is quickly shrinking and approaching 1. Like, I would just imagine at some point, both players start to be very considerate of the ever-present risk that they might exit the tournament in a 400 big blind pot. And usually thresholds to stack off there are relatively high.
Yeah, they might. And the ace queen, if it 4-bets, who knows if it does or doesn't. He doesn't think it exists. Still gets like ace king to fold, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
Like Adrian's going to peel the flop with a diamond.
Yeah.
So like you're betting for protection / value, and you find a check probably on river.
Yeah.
Along those lines, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
And maybe sometimes you check the flop or check the turn, but like it's probably broken down somewhere.
I think everything that you're saying is very valid. I also think it's a lot of the mental gymnastics people go through in order to not make a fold like this. And I think that's what makes Adrian like just so fucking next level. Is he doesn't get clouded by the white noise. He just sees the spot for what it is. And it's just like, we're playing the main event. We should both be respecting each other's stack pretty deeply here at 200 big blinds effective. I don't see him having worse than kings.
I mean,
I'm out. I'm just out.
I was having this conversation yesterday where it's a weird in between where like, let's just say like Barry took like an ace wheel and like bet with a flush draw, right? Like something that could potentially happen. Who knows if it does or doesn't, but like, let's just pretend like in this reality, it's not aces, right? It's ace 4 suited, ace 5 suited, or like ace 10 suited.
Sure.
And it's like Mateos folds kings here. And then the entire like poker Twitter's like, how is he folding kings? Like what the fuck is going on?
Well, poker Twitter, yes, but I wouldn't change my stance.
Like
I
on the aggregate.
I have enough respect for Adrian's game that like if he had folded incorrectly here, I don't think that it's a problem because I still think the framework for the decision is relatively the same. You're operating on razor thin decisions where you're trusting that he is achieving perfect balance in order for you to make a slightly winning call. And from my perspective, and I don't know that much about MTTs, but I assume that Adrian's well versed in this. He's just deciding that playing a 400 big blind pot in the main event when he can just otherwise play a bunch of 20 big blind pots and win them without much effort isn't really worth it in a non-nutted spot. Right? Like, I think it would be different if he had aces, but maybe it wouldn't. It's like on one hand, he beats kings. On the other hand, he blocks all the bluffs. Right? So maybe if he has aces, no diamond, that's the one where it's like, okay, like this is the one we have to get it in with. And if he shows me queens, I'm going to be sad.
Yeah.
Right? But in that instance, like you're beating a fair chunk of the 4-bet range.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a little bit different. And I think you just wait for that. Wait is the wrong word because it makes it sound as though you're actively passing on making money in order to like make money in this figurative world. Like, but it's just like if we get to play this spot a bunch, we would just greatly prefer having aces, no diamond.
Yeah, like for example, if he has a flush draw in this spot, he's not folding the turn.
Correct.
You know, because you can just
bluff
either bluff later if they check, or you make a 5-card hand and like you have like effectively the nuts. You know, if you go out like 400 bigs deep, like flush over flush, welcome to life, you know? But
and
like,
also maybe a better chance he even peels like ace queen suited one more over kings, right?
Yeah, because he still has equity versus kings and blocks aces and all that stuff. So yeah, it's
probably
just like
still finds a fold, but like
it's like this weird in between though, where he's just saying like on aggregate, this is not going to be that great for me for the spot at hand.
Yeah, I mean, like this to me is like if you were to watch somebody who uses MDA online, this would be like an MDA fold, right? Like population just massively under bluffs this spot, gonna muck everything that's not nutted.
Yeah,
and kings don't qualify as nutted any longer.
No,
which I just think is like, you know, I think Nick's tweet really sums it up. Like the kid's unconscious, and in typical tournament fashion, he is abruptly rewarded and then punished for his decisions.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Within like an orbit, he gets aces, of course, and he's up against ace king suited and Garcia, the man of the hour that absolutely put you guys in a blender on the bubble, wakes up with ace king suited and 50 bigs. I think this was button versus big blind, if I'm not mistaken. Goes raise, 3-bet. I think it
was early open call squeeze 4-bet.
He was
big blind squeezed. It goes open Adrian early, like under the gun 7, button call, big blind squeeze, 4-bet,
Okay.
fold, all-in call.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I was pretty sure Ace King suited was coming out of the big blind, but
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that that he was the button. I don't think Garcia was at the table yet either. Oh yeah, he was.
He was. He had Ace King on the button.
Yeah.
In the big blind.
Yeah, you're right.
The hand just played itself, and then Adrian lost and was very sad.
Yeah, so it was a risky spot too. So I think they ended up getting in $3.5 million each, give or take. Adrian was left with like 15 bigs after the fact.
Do we have the footage of the hand?
We do not.
I don't know. If we do, it's on the Poker Go page, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Adrian was left with like 450K afterwards, which was
14 bigs or something.
yeah, roughly 15 bigs. So I guess they were playing 30K big blind. So I think they got in almost 100 big blinds each.
Yeah, big pot. Big pot.
Do you think there's anything Ace King suited could or should do differently?
Ace King, no. Not versus him. You just have to like, well, I mean, you're forced to squeeze after open call, and then he 4-bet you, and you can't fold. And flatting out of position is toxic. And he can have the same hand as you.
Right.
Or he can have queens.
And you have suited.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because like...
It just plays itself, and he got unlucky. It's very sad.
Yeah. It was kind of funny because like watching it play out, I was thinking to myself like, oh, this is very similar to... for whatever reason, I thought Adrian was the button, but I was like, this is very similar to the hand that basically crippled me, where it's like, you're just going to play 200 big blind flip at some point in this event, and the benefactor is going to be the one that just takes it down. Unfortunately for Garcia, he was not flipping. He was in the worst case scenario, running right into aces, and was fortunate enough to somehow win on the 10 high rainbow board with the old running spades.
Yeah.
Wild.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Gonna find a way to do it. And that just like quickly led to Adrian's demise. He ended up getting deuces versus sevens to exit in somewhere around like 150. No, I guess like 200 and something place.
Yeah.
Because there's 160 left now.
Yep.
Really, really toxic. Very makes me never want to. You know what? I would retire if I were him too. It's just really it really demonstrates the stick-to-itiveness.
He'll be in the 50K.
Yeah, of course he will. Well, not even. He said it wasn't even the worst speed he's ever taken. No, that's not true. He did say it was the worst speed he's ever taken, but he kind of did it with a smile on his face and said like, "I'll be back," type of thing. That level of resiliency, I don't have it at this day in my age. You know, maybe whenever I was a young up and comer, where I believed luck didn't apply to me, but not now.
Nope.
Not ever. I just can't do it.
Oh, this is the
High
one.
board after the turn.
Small blind call.
We got an ace king and a 5-4 of hearts also in the hand. Ling Ku
Oh, yeah.
Lu
So he was
right
low
there with
jack.
5-4 of hearts.
Re-raise.
Won an online bracelet last year.
This feels a bit fitting, doesn't it? Adrian dodging that classic kings versus aces cooler just a moment ago. Now he gets to have aces versus the ace king suited.
Adrian Garcia next to him. Joined the table recently. Ace king suited against one of the big stacks, one of the best in the game, Adrian Mateos.
And when you're facing such a capable player's 4-bet, you have to imagine ace king suited becomes a great hand to 5-bet shove. There's so much money in the pot already. You know that some percentage of the time you're just going to take down the pot right away, and the other percentage of the time your hand generally has a tremendous amount of equity. In this case, we know he's in very bad shape.
Notice the chip counts on their picture right there. Those are the chips they have left in the stack right now. 2.6 million each.
And in my world, Jesse, which I don't play No Limit, but when I'm at the main event,
Players all in.
All in against the aces, and ace king in big trouble. Mateos in line to get what he lost just a moment ago back in spades. Hopefully no spades come on the board for him though.
I was about to say in my main event on day 5, when I start a hand with 100 bigs, I can't believe I'm pushing all in.
With ace king?
Pre-flop with ace king.
You know, to be honest, Norm, I'm actually right there with you. But if I'm ever doing it, it's against Adrian Mateos 4-betting me.
One
Adrian's
spade.
so capable.
Okay.
But I could not agree anymore. There is 8 players left in this tournament at maximum, probably really 3 or 4 that I would ever consider putting 100 big blinds in against. Oh my God.
Another spade on the turn, and Garcia gets more equity. You see his outs, 9 of them at the top of the screen there.
Not like
Garcia
this.
is the one at risk.
I wonder when he knew.
What an awful beat this would be.
Oh, the tray of spades on the end, and Garcia's ace-king destroys the pocket aces and the chip stack of Adrian Mateos.
How much actual money is this worth?
My
a lot.
goodness.
So I guess
I can't believe that
and you
just
can tell me
happened.
if you think this is right. The pot was about 6 million, which is roughly average stack with 100 left. So my best estimate was it was worth about 50th place money.
Like 225.
Yeah,
50.
around 225k.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Is that a reasonable way of guesstimating ICM?
I would say like 250, 275 actually.
I mean, we can look at
6 million right now is 500k. In ICM.
Wow. Okay, so I was way off.
Yeah.
Well, no. I wasn't way off.
No,
There's
But
still
there was-
more
there were
people.
still more
in
players
the
There was like
tournament.
400 people left at that point,
Or
or 300.
whatever the hell
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
probably right on.
Okay, yeah. So I
Probably
was
somewhere 300 to 400.
that was probably pretty close.
But like, it's weird when you say it, when you put it that way, because like it's kind of not that. It's actually worth more because of how good he is with skill
Right.
edge.
Right.
You know, it's like, sure, in a perfect world where everyone plays really good, it's worth that much money. But he's really good at poker and winning pots, so it's worth much, much more.
Yeah.
Because now he has 14 bigs instead of having 200 and whatever.
Right.
Very sad.
Yeah, man.
Sad for
I wonder when
for
he
him.
knew, because like part of me thinks he didn't know until the 3 of spades hit the river. Like I would like to think that Adrian's both that good and that lucky that, like, you know, even when the 9 of spades came on the turn, he's just like, whatever, man. Like,
I mean, there's concerns.
yeah,
There's always concerns when you can lose.
Unfortunate he's not dead here, but we're gonna fade this one. And then the 3 of spades rips on the river, and he's just like, wow, I just never saw. I would know.
Never saw that coming.
I would know pre. I would be rooting so hard for a chop. I would be just like, all right, man. Like, I don't know if he's gonna flop Broadway, or if he's gonna, like, you know, flop Broadway with a royal draw. But, like, you know, let's keep it clean for a chop here, boys. Maybe we get the 2, 3, 4, 5 board. I'm content. Just let me get my 100 big blinds back because I just need to stay in this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never going to be a board without a spade. There's never going to be a board without 2 Broadways. Like,
where's the 773 rainbow?
yeah, where is the 773 rainbow?
You would see a 7 on the turn, so it
That's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
That's fine.
And then another 7.
Yeah, so
I
if
can
you get
stomach-
773, you get the 7 turn, 7 river.
Everyone can stomach a chop in this spot, and like, honestly,
Go on your way.
well, yeah, one of the highest EV pots I've ever played. 2 of them, both were with the nuts. One was with 6 people left in a 2,500 bracelet event. I was chip leader, and the guy second in chips, who I had covered by 2 blinds, got it in set over set. I had queens, he had 9s in a single raise pot on like queen 9-8, and we just get it in for all of it, and it comes running jack 10. And it's like the EV of that was probably worth somewhere in the neighborhood of like 600k. I think first was like 950. I ended up getting 6th instead. The other one, was, I think there was either 17 or 21 left in the Legends tournament at the Bicycle that no longer exists. It was a WPT. First place was 750k. I was chip leading, and Will Fiala was like second in chips. We played a 300 big blind pot that was exactly 4 bets before all the money went in. Raise, I 3-bet huge with aces, and he goes, I'm all in. Snap. And he goes, oh, Jesus Christ. Dealer, king of clubs, one time dealer. Right in the fucking door. Right in the goddamn door, king of clubs. He won it. So that pot was probably worth somewhere in the neighborhood of like 500k.
Max.
Those had to be 2 of the biggest spots. And in both of them, I knew that I was never winning.
I mean, my biggest spot, I didn't even look at the river. I got in 10s versus ace king. What, 5 left in the, or actually I think there were 7 left at this point in the 5K. And I just see the turn, it's clean as ever. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to lose this fucking pot. There was like 600K up top. King.
Actually, you know what? I'm totally disregarding like any pots that I lost in, or won for that matter, in the Super High Roller Bowl because I just forget that I ever played that event.
Yeah.
But I only had 20% of myself. So if we reduce it accordingly,
yeah, it's about the same.
I still think these WPTs and WSOPs are maybe bigger, but yeah, I mean it's fucking brutal to see that happen. He took it like a champ. Obviously, he's just gonna be firing the 50K today, and he's gonna go about his business. And that's the life of being an MTTer, guys. You want the glory, you got to deal with the fucking pain, and we all signed up for the absolute pain. One way to alleviate the pain, though, is to potentially sell your stack at ICM. And one Derek Walters does everybody in the community a huge service and puts out ICM chip values every single day past the bubble. So today's are out, and he has a very short list. Chip leader Steven Song, his stack is worth $835,000.
He did this without Stevens actually, because Carlos has 12.1, Steven has 12.3.
Okay, I mean same.
Yeah.
Average stack at this point, which I think is roughly 3 million, is worth about 300K. And then the bottom stacks are worth somewhere in the neighborhood of 122. What are they guaranteed now? They're guaranteed
70K.
I was gonna say just south of 100K, right?
120 whatever gets
125th gets 100K. That's the big milestone.
That's like roughly 1% of the field.
Yeah, give or take, maybe like 1.2%.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I like that too. Do you think anybody's out there wheeling and dealing, doing business? I know our boy Cunty Cakes is out there always looking to buy.
Yeah. Sometimes be off and then fuck you.
So we were talking about this a little bit off air, but like I think this is a really good stage to buy.
Yeah.
Is it a really good stage to sell?
Yes and no. It
depends how much money you need.
Yeah. It depends how much risk you need to take off the table, because like, you know, Steven's in a very similar situation that Adrian was in yesterday. Adrian came into the day with 4 million. It was like 200 and some odd blinds. What are they coming back to today? 30K? Is that right?
I think so.
No. No. It has to be 60K.
Hold on. I have it up.
I think they're coming back to 60K. Let's see.
Big blind is... It's not right here.
I think they're coming back to 60K.
I mean, Steven has 200 big blinds.
Yeah, that's
piles.
That's why I think they're coming back to 60K.
No, they're coming back to 80K.
Okay, 80K. So he has like 150 big blinds, right? So similar situation to Adrian yesterday. You can be out, man. You know,
It's
like
true.
you can be out.
Real
150
quick.
big blinds is a lot of money or a lot of chips, but like you could just fucking be out. And
a lot of movement happens today.
Right. Well, a lot of movement happens every day, but yes.
Yeah, but like,
people leave the tournament today.
yes,
right.
yes.
People
But
do
like,
exit the tournament.
Big pots.
They'll leave the tournament tomorrow too. Don't you forget.
Right.
Like, people have like 20 million, 25 million at the end of today, if not more.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll start to see final table average. So you could see that his stack is actually worth like 13th place money or 12th place money, something along those lines. Final table average, so there's 6 billion chips in play, which means that final table average is 60 million, give or take. So he's 1/5 final table average already.
That's insane.
Did I do that math right? 60 million times 10 would be 600 million. No, there's 6 billion.
600 million.
600 million is final table average? That can't be right.
Wait, no.
That can't be right.
60 million would be final table average, right? And there's 600 million in...
There's 6 billion in play.
There's 600 million in play.
Yeah, there's 600 million in play, Berk.
Sorry, one zero too many.
Yeah.
10,000 times 60,000.
Yeah.
600 million.
It's a lot of zeros.
Yeah.
Lots of zeros.
9 zeros. 10 zeros? 9 zeros.
8 zeros. 9 digits.
There you go. There's where I missed it. I had the 9th zero.
Yeah.
So 8 zeros. Okay, so 600 million in play. So final table average is 60 million. So he's 1/5 final table average right now. So yeah, I think you're right. By the end of today, Chip Leader probably has somewhere close to final table average.
Yeah.
You think so? You think
Chip Leader like has like 30 million, maybe 35 million, I'd say.
Chip Leader from yesterday to today, 4x, 3x, 12, 3x, yeah. Right? So
Steven was Chip Leader yesterday. How much did you start with?
4.
So now he has 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 36.
40 million. 40 maybe.
Depends on who you beat.
Well, there's some structure jumps too.
Yeah.
40, 80, 510, whatever. So yeah, I think we see somewhere somebody emerges always too, right? Like there's always somebody.
Someone bags like 48.5.
Yeah.
Just cooler everyone.
Yeah.
Win a bunch of pots.
His name's Steven Song.
Hopefully.
Hopefully it's Steven Song. Hopefully it's who else do you have a swap of?
Yeah.
Dunst.
Come on, Tony.
So like what I was saying is I think this is a really good time to buy. Whether or not it's a good time to sell, I guess depends on your risk aversion. But if you can get Steven Song, who's chip leading right now at 13th place money, I think that I think there's a lot of upside to that because I think Steven can win the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it's like if you get to buy a piece of him at 13th place, yeah, you're gonna lose. Like there's a big discrepancy here.
Mm-hmm.
He can finish anywhere from 130th or whatever the fuck they're at, 160th, all the way to first. So there are a lot of places that he can finish where you're losing money.
Yeah.
But he also can win the tournament.
He can just win the tournament, and you can almost 10x,
like
more than 10x.
You can almost 100x, but it's up to you.
Up to you. It's up to you.
It's the weird in between where like people that are really good at poker are not going to really want to sell unless they kind of need some money.
Right.
But at the same time, like you never really know where someone is in their life spot versus the spot itself.
Well, you could also offer a little bit of juice, right? Like you might be able to just buy a piece of Steven at $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, Danny Tang responded to Cunty Cakes and was like, I have 2.75 million. What's the price? So, I mean,
interesting.
People out there looking. He's like, you're too rich for it. He's like, you're too rich to sell to me. He's like, who knows? What's the price?
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like at this point,
Danny would be a really good buy. His stack's worth about 300K. So he only really needs to get top 50 for you to break even, and he can win the event.
Yeah.
He can win the event.
I mean,
this is why, like, buying shooter stacks.
Shoot Danny a DM.
He'd probably sell a little bit higher than ICM, but yeah.
Yeah. Shoot Danny a DM. We'll take a 5-ball at a little higher than ICM.
I mean, this is kind of the reason that, like, in my final table spot, like, buying at ICM was not really a good spot.
The closer you get to the tournament ending, the less risk, but also the less of a multiple you can earn.
Depends on your stack value. Like 6 left, like last and chips had a really good ICM spot because they double once and like you're cooking.
Kind of.
Nah, it's a lot. Like
last and chips at your table was 12 big blinds,
25.
Right? Okay, that's different.
It was like 140, 100, 69, 62, 65, 25.
Mm-hmm.
Where a 25 stack doubles through someone that has 60. It's very hard for you to lose on that buy.
It was just very clear that like the shorter stacks, if they were competent, are much better buys than like the chip leader.
Right. Well, you either want the chip leader that's going to ravage everybody, or you want last that's going to be able to take advantage of it.
Maybe. I think the chip leader would have to win for you to profit.
They do. Like there was a spot where a friend took a piece of somebody in the WBT World Championships, and they literally needed him to win to make profit, and they got second. So he lost on the buy.
Yeah.
But like, do you think they're going to win this tournament more often than not?
Right.
Which is a big gamble.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of variance baked into that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, like, look, I might be shopping. I might be doing a little shopping here.
I just.
You're retired, but your money is not retired.
Well, that's right. We're in the buying business. I mean, like, yeah, if you can sprinkle like 100K worth of buys at this particular level, like cherry picking people that you genuinely think can win.
Yep.
But you're getting them for like,
especially if they're shorter.
Yeah, like Danny, you're basically buying for 50th place money, right? Like, is he going to finish on average in 50th or better? No.
Probably not.
No,
Yeah.
but like when he gets that deep, like when you get to that break even point, he has a real legitimate chance of winning a lot. And also, you're only paying 3x, like basically what he's going to be guaranteed in a level, right? Like he's probably going to finish in the top 125 at a really high frequency. So, you're only going to lose, on the difference of like 200K, which isn't too terrible.
It's so fun to look at WSOP. It's main event updates on Poker News. Everyone's like always so miserable and sad, and they're like, I can't, like it hurts to look at them after I'm out of the tournament. I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Every 2 minutes you can like click the refresh button and there's a new one.
Yeah.
They're on it.
Well, it's a big fucking deal.
They're on it.
We're talking WSOP here, baby.
I know.
And one story that's emerging that I, for one, am thrilled to see is that of young Yegs. For those of you who don't know Yegor, he's been around the scene for quite some period of time, way back in the 2013s. His kind of crew got a little bit of an emergence when Trevor Pope won his first bracelet. So it was like him, Joey Wiseman, Trevor Pope, D-Fish, Seth Berger made a deep run. He final tabled the 5K No Limit with me that year. I think he got second in that one. So their whole little collective group of friends was doing incredibly well. And, you know, Yegs is just, he's the tortoise of that group. He's the big moral support. He's the happy-go-lucky guy that everybody wants in their corner. And, you know, Jeff was kind of interviewing Weissman about how Yegs just shows up at every single final table and lends his support. Now Joey's out there on the rail for day 6. Yegs comes in 4th in chips. 4th in chips. This is a man who's cooking right now.
So is Lena 900, one of like the greatest online players of all time.
Great pivot. Now let's go to that interview.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Last level of day 5. Let us have some fun and check in with Yegor Moroz. Yegs, stand up for me, please, sir. You have to sum up for us. I see the smile on your face. Just how much fun you're having at the main.
Great time. It's a very exciting time for everybody, but especially me, because I've been on quite a heater, quite a run. I mean, honestly, it's just been kind of cooling people. Sometimes you just fucking run hot. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah. Sometimes you just run hot.
Night shift.
And this is a good time to run hot. I was just hanging around most of the tournament. I was super short. I was down to like 46K at the end of day 3, and then got lucky on a big blind defend, and then spun it up, and then just took all the spots, and just got through. Didn't lose an all-in. I'm like 6-0 in flips. That's pretty good, right?
I would say so.
That's those exciting stuff.
We've seen you on the rail for, I think, maybe every one of Joey Weissman's final tables. We're about to check in with him, but what's it like to have the roles reversed?
It's so exciting. This is what you dream of, honestly. This is like the kind of thing where when I was growing up, starting to get into poker, watching the main event on ESPN, you see these moments, you live for these moments, and every day you chase this. And what's crazy is this is my 10th main event of 0 cashes up until this one. Sneaking the money, and then I was just kind of finagling my way through, made a good caller today, and then now it's this.
And now it's this. And I got to send you back to this so you don't miss a hand bet. I'm going to go check in with your rail. Sound good?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, you got it, Yegs. Thank you. Just stand here. We'll get back to that one. Let's go over and chat with Yegs Rail. You can hear him already. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me, please. Jeremy, out of the way, please. Poker.org, though, does fantastic content. Let's see, so much to choose from. Joey Weissman, right this way, please. We've seen Yegs, I think, at every one of your final tables. What's it like for you to be here on his rail?
I'm just so happy watching him from the rail myself, because he's like a secret that the poker world doesn't know yet, you know? And, I mean, I'm just rooting him home. You know, if he wins, I think he'll be a great ambassador for the game. He's just got such good energy, and he's just the easiest guy in the room to root for, honestly, so.
How much fun are y'all having out here?
Yeah, we're having a blast. We're really enjoying ourselves. Yeah.
Pretty good time, says Daryl. Pretty good time. They're having a pretty good time. Ali and Nick, I'm guessing you guys are having a pretty good time as well.
Man, day 5 rails. That's dedication. There's 200 people left. And they have everything in the world to cheer for. He fucking bagged 4th in chips. 9.7 million chips.
It's weird when you're that close, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the big spot, but the spot keeps getting bigger every passing level.
The hopium is
like every flip is more expensive than the last kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't end until it's over.
And he's 6-0. So it's like, thank God we got a little cushion for the next one.
Yeah.
You know?
And then when he's 7-0, you're thinking the same thing.
I hope it's a short stack.
That's the thing. Like it's really weird. Where like you can go 6-0 and like have all this stuff, and then you play one flip versus someone with a comparable stack, and you can just be out.
You're just out.
You just be out.
Yeah.
It's
tournaments are the worst, man.
What a game.
What a game we chose to play. It's nothing but pain. So today we're looking forward to day 6. There are a lot of names still left in the field that we're obviously rooting for. The locals, one Joe Teehan,
one goat.
Obviously rooting for Yegs. Daniel Moon Anderson is still in the field. And then whenever you start talking about like people who are a part of the 25K pools and, you know, a lot of, I guess, well-accomplished MTT players that have a legitimate shot at winning this thing. You're talking Ren Lin. You're talking Steven Song, who's chip leading. You're talking Christy Foxon. You're talking Danny Tang. Like, these guys are all in the mix.
Don't forget my boy Biao Ding.
Who's Biao Ding?
guy.
Triton guy.
Okay. Biao.
Yeah, I was in the mix.
Don't forget Brian Rast.
Rasty.
Hall of Famer. Might be the only Hall of Famer left in the mix.
Hall of Fame bounty.
Can we confirm that?
Have we ever seen, how many people are left?
160-ish.
Have we ever seen 160 players this strong?
Man,
It's
good
funny
question.
that you say that because Landon was mentioning his final table, and I just remember thinking how tough Landon's final table was. Like, this can still shape up to be like
One of the toughest
a
ever.
really tough.
I think
final
2
table.
years ago with Espen's final table, the final few tables were like really tough.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like super known pros. Like it wasn't like you were getting Lena's in the mix still.
Yeah.
You weren't getting like the absolute mashers, but you know, guys like Espen still in the mix. Guys like what's his name? Attenborough, yeah. His name was slipping my mind. Matt Sue was at that final table.
Asher made FT.
Yeah, Asher made FT. So it was like, it was a relative. Here's the thing, like, as the game continues to mature, more and more people are going to be established winners.
Yeah.
That are going to feel very important to the mix as we get down to the wire.
It's also just going to be like this the better that people get and like study and try.
Yeah.
You know, like this tournament is so long that at some point the people that you do know are going to end up making deep runs, and it's not just because they get lucky time and time again. You know, like how many times can you say somebody got lucky until they keep winning and you're like, wait a minute, that there needs to be something that's right that's going on here. You know?
Yeah. Well, the world, or at least the luck factor, corrected itself yesterday, sending one Bin Wang and one Jesse Lonis to the rail.
Dude, Ben Wang has got heart. I mean, it was with a 4-bet or 5-bet shove with A7.
I didn't see that one.
Man, yeah,
that sounds about right.
That was his exit against Ponikovs.
What did Ponikovs have?
Ace King.
He had Ace King.
Oh, okay.
It was open 3-bet. Ben Wang jammed.
God damn, man.
Right after that, Bin came to the 3K. Open cutoff. I looked down at Ace Deuce suited with 17. It's a pure jam.
Yeah.
Bin opened. It's even more of a fucking pure jam. So I jammed it. Then he just says, I call.
Maybe it's less of a pure jam versus Bin because he's just like not folding some of the hands that you're supposed to fold.
It's a value jam.
Yeah, I'm just jamming for value.
You jam Ace Deuce, you get called by King 10 off, and you win.
King 7 suited.
Well, you don't win. That's
no, you don't
the thing.
win, but you get a good flip.
You lose.
Wait. So what did he call with?
Ace 10, he had it.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, that's
No, I mean, I could honestly, I was very surprised it took so long to call.
Yeah, when you're Bin Wang, that is fucking.
I was like, that's got to be the nuts, bro.
I thought I had the nuts once.
Yeah.
And then I retired myself.
Go on.
The last 2 days have been tough. I've been getting cooked. I'm officially in the muck. And I don't know if there's any pulling me out. I might just die here.
I'm trying to understand your death because when I asked you if you got cooled off or if you bluffed it off, you said it was neither. So
No, it's even worse than that, bro.
Everything is worse. It's a culmination of things. I lost 170 the night before, and at the time I remembered how it happened, but now I don't remember.
It's just all a blur.
2 days later, I truly don't remember what happened. I'm sure there was a really... I did bluff it all off. I bluffed off like the last 70K. That I wasn't super confident in. We can actually do an in the muck on that one at some point, where I turned a pair and a flush draw versus what I knew was like a top pair type range, and I check raised jammed. That's for another day. That night I was able to get over it, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna strap in, we're gonna do it again today, and I'm gonna get some of that money back. I'm just gonna try to win a third of it. Just let me get 40-50K back.
Okay.
Back on my feet, you know, feel what it feels like to win again.
You literally lost 2 days in a row. That's it.
Yeah, but I lost 250,000 in 2 days.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, that happens.
Only 250 big blinds.
No.
2,500 big.
Game are you fucking?
I'm sorry.
Hey man, you can't talk about numbers. You got
you
6
can't.
billion in the.
You're not allowed to talk about anything like
I
that.
only missed a zero.
And I only missed the zeros.
Yeah, that's true.
What
You're
the
right.
fuck?
Yeah.
But
rude as hell.
But you should have known.
But you should have known.
Well, you should have known it wasn't 250 big blinds.
I know it
I'm not
wasn't.
retired over 250
I'm
big
well
blinds.
aware. I said it wrong. Whatever.
The game is 100, 200?
Well, the game starts at 1-1, but last night I was in the main game. Actually, the last 2 nights I was in the main game, so it was 1-2. So only 1,250 big
so
blinds.
20 dimes is, help me out.
100
yeah,
big blinds.
100 big blinds, yeah.
So I lost like 120, or sorry, 1,250 big blinds the last 2 days, give or take. This hand was the one that sent me over. So I'll preface it with how I got stuck. I was flirting with even. I was maybe down like 15, 20K. A hand happened where hijack opened, button called, and I have king jack suited in the small blind. I squeeze. I think I squeezed to 3K. Both of them call. Board comes what I think is king jack 10 rainbow. So I'm like, great flop. Big bet flop. We got it here. Like, this is fucking us. We have sets. We have top pair, top kicker. We have straights. We have 2 pairs. Like, we're fucking on this one, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I just flopped top 2 in a backdoor flush draw. Okay. So I bet 66% pot, 6K into 9. I'm met with a call. And then I'm met with a raise on the button, who makes it 17,000.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? He definitely never has ace queen. How am I getting raised? He doesn't even really flat 10s in this spot. Like, he almost certainly pure 3 bets 10s. And I glance back at the board, and it's actually king 10.
Ooh.
And now I'm like, what the fuck is really going on here? Because somehow my hand just got better, but the spot got way worse. Because now I missized on the board. Like, this is not a big bet board. And I'm super getting fucked. And for him to squeeze now versus a bet and a call for 66% pot, it's like he has a fucking full house. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how he has a full house because I have a king and he doesn't have pocket 10s. So I'm so thoroughly confused, but I'm sure that I'm drawing at this point.
Yeah.
I call. The other guy folds. Turns a club. I check. He bets 35,000 into 40. And I say to myself, fold your hand.
Just fucking fold.
Fold your hand. You're drawing. You're literally drawing. And not to the clubs. This backdoor flush draw is meaningless. You're dead, sir. Put your hand in the muck. And as I'm saying, put your hand in the muck, my hand is sliding forward, but not with 2 cards. No. With a 35K call. Oh. Because I fucking hate money. River, brick, I check. He snap jams. I go, I know you have king 10 somehow. I don't know how. And I fold my hand with, like, you know, it was like a 30K shove. That was the other thing. He bet more than like half his stack on the turn. Yeah, it's just like, this is such a fucking... He knows I have a king. It's so obvious I have a king. I bet too fucking big and I called your raise. Like, I have a goddamn king. Yep. So clear. So obviously I finally make the corrective mistake where I didn't make the full house and I fold. He did have king 10. Or at least he claims. I thought he had 10s somehow. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you trap 10s here, but like, you just have 10s. So that got me nice and steamed up. Now I'm stuck like 75,000. And this hand happens much later, but this hand ends up happening. So Matt Spew opens the low jack.
That can't really be his name.
I'm changing the names to protect their identity.
Yeah, sure.
Guapo, okay? Matt Spew opens the low jack. Wreck-It Ralph calls on the button. The small blind also calls. And
squeeze.
And I call out of the big blind with 3s. Okay. You know you have this hand, right?
Wait, why wouldn't you?
Oh, are we in the muck right now?
Wait, I
was waiting for you to say, let's get in the muck.
I have a question.
I think I am folding 3s there. It feels like a set over set spot.
We're pre-flop, bro.
Yeah, no. It feels like you're setting yourself up for a set over set.
What are you, drunk?
No, just nitty.
Okay, go on.
You're folding 3s? We're like 500 big blinds effective.
I know, which makes it even worse.
What?
You hate money.
No,
and for someone who loves money so much, you hate it.
We're going what? 5 ways, and
I don't know why the blinds are what they are. I obviously fucked up the hand.
Sorry, we're going 4 ways, and we're trying to hit a set, and I don't know how wonderful a set feels.
Well, closing action.
I'll tell you this much, buddy. If you're playing a 4-way pot, you would much rather have 3s than about 99% other hands in the deck. I can't think of any better hands than pocket pairs in multi-way scenarios. Anyway, we see a flop of 10-3 deuce, 10 of diamonds, deuce of diamonds, 3 of hearts. Very good one.
You should just muck now. They could have 10s.
That's true. They could have 10s. 2,000 in the pot. Actually, there's a little bit more. There's like 2,200 because of the ante. I check. Sorry, small blind checks. I check. Matsu bet 600. Wreck-It Ralph calls. Small blind folds, and I check raise to $3,000, both of which are met with a call. We land on the turn, 5 of clubs. This is a really good card, both for my range as well as it's not a diamond, pretty much. So it's good for my hand. Now, of course, Matt Spew could have a little bit of ace 4, 6-4. Not even just a little bit. He probably has like all ace 4 suited.
Looks like he has all 6-4 suited too.
And yeah, he probably has the 6-4. I got to tell you, when he told me his hand, I was a little miffed.
When I looked at this, I was like, wait, where did you look from?
Man, you really are Matt Spew. So I don't really need to concern myself that much with straights. I clearly have a must bet spot here. I have a lot of 6-4, ace-4 in my range as well, defending out of the big. So this is like a range card for me more than anything else, even though I'm against 2 opponents. So I bet 8 into 11. I think I can go all the way up to pot, but I sized down a bit just because of the fact that we're multi-way. And also it was pretty much exactly half of Ralph's stack, so I wanted to be able to reopen the action should he elect to jam. Although I thought about it after the fact, and maybe that wasn't right, because I don't want to push Matt out of the pot, I don't think. So, like, let's say Ralph jams here, which he didn't, but let's say he does. With his shove and my completing the action, you're going to see 52,000 in the pot, and Matt and I would be like another 100 effective, so like 2 SPR. Do I want to shut him out in that instance? But then along the same lines, do I want to just give him a sick price to draw?
Yeah.
Right? I think I want to shut him out.
Shut him out, yeah. Seems better.
Because like if Ralph jams and I just call, now Matt's getting like, it's 8K to win like 50 something. So he's just getting like a ridiculously good price. He's getting like 7-1 to draw to diamonds.
And you can also just have the hand that Wreck-It Ralph has. You can just have like 5-4 spades here.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, and like you don't really want to give him a price on that.
Exactly.
And also like he might just do something dumb with like 10-5 if I just like click. So yeah, I think clicking would have been the right approach. Like
Agreed.
Ralph makes it, if Ralph jams for a 16-5, I think I would just make it like 26K.
And you might just get it be met with a jam in your face.
Right.
Yeah,
right. He might just be put to tough decisions. Yeah. Anyway, that didn't happen. What did happen though was Ralph is very image aware. Okay. Now I'm calling him Wreck-It Ralph, but really he is methodical Ralph. He is.
The only thing you wrecked was you.
He is very self-conscious, or not self-conscious, self-aware of his image, Ralph.
Okay.
He knows that we think he is on the conservative side of things, and that he's not much of a gambler. So when he chooses not to jam turn with no fold equity, I think both Matt and I immediately default to he's getting a good price with a draw, and his hand has no showdown value, right? Like he can't value jam the turn. Like value jamming the turn would be like if he ever has like ace 3 of diamonds, which he can't because I have the 3 of diamonds. But like say he has that hand, he could potentially just like be value jamming because I could be bluffing and Matt could be drawing to worse diamonds.
Wouldn't he 3 that hand though, Pre?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not. For sure not. I didn't use ace 5 of diamonds because he probably would 3-bet that hand. Okay. But like, no, ace 3 of diamonds on the button, even if it's not Ralph, like that's mostly just going to be a pure call. So, you know, there are some hands he could be like value jamming here to both get protection and reopen. Like if he has a hand like ace 4 of diamonds, which is like basically locking it up, maybe he wouldn't jam that. But if he has a hand like 6-4 of diamonds, for instance, he might want to jam that because now I reopen the action and maybe shut Matt out who has better diamonds than him. Something along those lines.
And
right?
he just gets the money in a big pot.
Right. Yeah. So I should have carried that thought further though, because if he has small diamonds, he's really incentivized to jam.
Yeah. If he has small diamonds, he also has probably like a straight draw, some type of gutter with it.
Right. And he's really incentivized to jam those because I can then shut Matsu out of the pot.
Yeah.
If he has nut diamonds, he may just like find the jam anyway in hopes that he gets 3-way action guaranteed versus hands that aren't drawing, right? So he truly actually might not have nearly as many diamond combos as both Matt and I defaulted him to having.
Yeah.
But that's really hard to envision in real time because you know what you're trying not to see.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm against 2 ranges. So I can't just like be hyper focused on like what Ralph is cold calling here. I'm also focused on like, well, what makes up Matt Su's range, right? So I was very much sold on Ralph's turn antics that he's on a draw and cannot fold. He's getting way too good of a price. Now, I actually think his actual hand probably could and should fold. I think he's drawing very, very thin versus 2 ranges, even though it's me and Matt Spew. Like, even though we're both really wide,
yeah,
I think he's drawing like very, very close to dead.
One of you guys can also just have diamonds in your hand.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's
so
my point.
Like a really shitty situation.
Like he can be against a made straight. He can be against diamond draws.
Yeah.
Or he can be up against like even what he's up against. I'm not sure he's getting the right price to call here. So it's like he's getting like 4.5 to 1 in a spot where he's only live to his 8 outs.
6.
There's no diamonds.
Yeah, I'm just saying if there was.
Yeah, there's no diamonds. So he has 8 outs, 1 to come, 16%. He needs to be getting like 6 to 1. And if he assumes that his 8K always gets called when he makes the hand, then it's probably really close. So now it's like it's like 8K to win like 43,000. So yeah, now you're getting pretty close. It's like 5.5 to 1. It's very, very razor thin. But again, like I guess the point I'm getting at is there's no scenario where all of his outs are live, I don't think.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. As played, who has diamonds here?
I would think Matt.
Matt, yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
And that's what fucked me on the river the most.
Yeah, because you can't do anything.
I can't do anything. I have to wait for Ralph to act.
Yeah.
Because I know Matt is just like laying in the weeds.
Yep.
Now, maybe that's incorrect thinking. Maybe I could just bet Ralph's stack on the end because it's a perfect block size.
Yeah, that's actually.
I also have diamonds, of course, right? So it's not like I'm devoid of diamonds.
Is blocking multi-way a thing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is if I did river a flush, blocking's really good because so I think like if I rivered a flush, I would probably block for like half a Ralph stack. Right? Because that wouldn't make sense.
That's small.
Well, it's not even that. There's no good thing that happens from me being the one to reopen the action when I have a flush. I want Matt Sud to reopen the action, right? Because he's who I'm effectively against. So I think like if I river a flush, I think I probably block
for
Ralph stack. Or alternatively, I could check, knowing Matt Sud will always check, and then when Ralph jams, the play would be to trap.
Call.
Yeah, so if I have like the nut flush, I would just call his 8,500 and then hope Matsu has a flush behind me and re-raises.
Yeah.
That's probably the sharp play, and maybe that's more so where my thinking was at in real time when I have a set on the rivers, that I'm just pure checking all rivers, waiting for Ralph to reopen the action, and then just trying to trap Matsu behind. So it does end up happening. It checks all the way to Ralph. He goes through his whole process and then shoves, and I think everybody there just thinks he has a flush like 99.9% of the time. Like this is a really good hand to do it with in order to have bluffs in this node.
Yeah.
Right? It makes a ton of sense. You're going to need a pair plus a 4, and I think 4-5 is the only one that he has. So I tanked for a long time. I think I just have to call anyway.
What are you getting, 5
When
to
I
1?
saw this hand, I was like, I can't believe you mucked it.
5.5 to 1. Anyway, I end up folding. And then Matsu goes through the same process that I did, which in his spot I would never fold.
Yeah.
I would just have to hero it off. My thought process was I'm putting this 8,500 in dead versus, if not versus Ralph, then versus Matsu.
Exactly.
Like I don't see a world where Ralph is bluffing and Matsu doesn't have a flush.
Yeah.
Right? Like that felt like too big of a parlay to overcome. Where it's just like there's just no scenario I can envision. The only one where it would make sense where where Ralph is bluffing and Matsu does not have a flush is a spot where I got set over set anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so like I just came to the conclusion that like I just absolutely can never win by making this call.
It's so funny because like he has 10-5 of hearts. Right. It's like what the fuck?
Right. Right. So I end up like just making the most disciplined fold of my life, which honestly theoretically is probably pretty good. The more I talk about it out loud, the more I actually do think that the parlay of Ralph both bluffing and Matsu having a worse hand than me.
It's just too much.
It's almost it has to be as close to impossible as imaginable.
Sounds like you should just block for his stack.
Yeah, that's
Well, why though?
So you don't deal with this.
So we just
like you literally said yourself to like, if you go all in for Ralph's stack and then Sue jams, you fold.
Yeah.
If you go all in for Ralph's stack and you Sue folds and Ralph calls, it's like unfortunate that you got coolered, but at the same time, yeah, never mind. That's not good.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
you never get called by worse. You're just betting the 8,500 to ensure you don't make a folding
good.
to ensure you don't make a
folding error.
Right,
yeah.
but like the folding error is almost impossible. Like it's weird because the spot
B10.
The spot is a 1 of 1.
Bet one big blind and see what happens.
Well, that's what I initially said. Maybe I bet half of Ralph's stack, but that's also not good. There's no reason to bet. I think I'm supposed to check range here. I truly feel confident about that.
How often do you call then?
I think you call with all your flushes. And you only ever, I think I only play check and I only play call.
With flushes.
Well, I could expand the calling. Like, I would definitely call with ace 4, which is worse somehow. Right?
Yeah, because now you have a 4
because
in
now
your
I
hand.
block
The pair plus, yeah.
Right. It's somehow worse. But here's the thing, like, we're working this spot out now after the fact.
Yeah.
I had to work it out in real time, right? So in theory, I probably am supposed to just call my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely call if I ever have 10s, right?
But
Because
what's the difference? Because
the difference is the difference is Matt's range.
Matt can have 3s and deuces behind, or whatever. 3s and deuces
the
behind.
difference is the parlay. It's not about how you perform strictly against Ralph's bet. It's how you perform against Ralph's bet with Matt left to act behind.
Yeah.
Right. What you don't want to have happen is that you call and then Matsu flicks in a call behind you with a bigger set or with a straight or with a flush, right? Because you're against 2 full ranges here. And you're losing to a lot of hand classes.
Does Matsu ever have like ace 10 with the ace of diamonds?
I would think he has that way more than he has 10-5.
Well, I mean,
I was screaming for a 5 river, buddy. Like, trust me, I tried to cool myself off for a fucking $250,000 pot here instead of just a small one.
I just mean like it's pot. Can Matsu have an overpair with the diamond?
Yeah, of course.
So I just mean like in a lot of cases, like. And he also
but he can't overcall those. He could bluff them.
No, he can't bluff them.
There would be no reason to bluff them.
He wouldn't bluff the dry side, especially if he thinks that Ralph only has a flush.
Correct.
You know, so you're never getting bluffed when you call.
I agree with that.
The only issue when you call is that sometimes you value own yourself. But the value own is for 22% pot.
Right.
You know, so I think you just call, you ship it in and go to bed.
I think we
do what Nick Howard would do.
I think we're in agreement that my hand here should be a call.
I think so.
But
what's the bottom of your call range?
This
This
and
is the
deuces.
absolute.
I think ace 4 can fold. Because
if you don't have diamond, that's a flush anyways.
Yeah, I think ace 4 can fold because now you're restricting Ralph to having what?
Do you play the spot differently though? Like, do you like raise a turn or like bet bigger on the turn?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Do you check raise flop?
Yeah.
Sometimes, depending on your suits, right? You might only have hearts and diamonds.
Hearts and diamonds.
Or like ace of diamonds.
I would check raise ace of diamonds 4.
Ace of diamonds 5.
Yes.
You know, so you'll have those sometimes.
Yeah, because I would squeeze.
You'll have
I would squeeze the suited wheels a lot.
You have 6-4 of hearts sometimes.
I'll have a lot of 6-4 period.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. You like to check raise.
Yeah, I would check raise 6-4 diamonds, 6-4 hearts.
But then you probably do something on, maybe you block, you put Ralph in because you have a straight.
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, you can't fold that one, so you just check and then call because you can beat a set.
Right. Well, no, Ralph never has a set.
You think
not
Ralph?
Ralph. We're talking about Matt though.
Right, but I have to beat Ralph's range.
Yes.
The issue with having a straight is that I block anything that he would potentially bluff with.
You thought that he never would have a bluff, and he only had flushes. So you folded.
Whoa. It's not that I thought he could never. I'm not trying to discredit Ralph. I know that he's capable. So it's not that I think this range is totally devoid of bluffs. I just think it's such a low frequency of bluffs, coupled with the fact that the times that he is bluffing, I lose to Matsu.
And he only has like the hands that he is bluffing is pair plus.
Right.
So
it's a big parlay.
When you have the 4 in your hand, it reduces the pair plus.
Right.
You just don't always lose to Matt's. I think it's different if the river jam is a different size, but 20% pot.
I get what you're saying, but like
you have to win one in not that many times.
But you're disregarding the turn ranges that have made it this far, because it's not about what the river jam size is. It's about, because it's not like we could just expect to be always checking the Ralph on river and it goes 8K and then we make decisions. It's about what the turn led these two ranges down to. I bet 8,000 into 11 and Matsu continues.
Yeah, but
that's a very equity dense range.
He can have a 10 with a diamond. He can have an overpair.
Yes, he's going to have hands that fold after I call Ralph.
A lot of them. Like jacks with the diamond.
Not when Ralph is bluffing, though. That's what you're not understanding.
What do you mean?
When Ralph is bluffing, Matt is going to be far more concentrated to diamonds. He has to be. He just simply has to be, because Ralph's bluff range is devoid of diamonds.
Sure.
Well, you're against two complete ranges, most of which are diamond dense, right? To go bet, call on this particular board multi-way, both of these ranges have to be highly concentrated to diamonds.
It's very unlikely that both of them have diamonds.
I agree with you, Landon. So when Ralph is bluffing, it's highly likely that Matt Su's range is even a greater percentage of diamonds, because there aren't really any two pairs available. Sure, he had the 10-5. Couldn't plan for that one.
Sure. I'm not, it doesn't really matter about the 10-5, not 10-5. I just mean like he's going to have like ace 10 offsuit, king 10 offsuit, right? These hands aren't going to start folding, I don't think.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's pretty tough when he has Ralph left to act behind him who can reopen the action for a click. Like, he has to be considerate of that. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just like totally disregarding that.
Or he just thinks that Ralph's going to fold. Like you bet and then Sue calls and Ralph has like a hand that's not that great anymore and then he folds.
Okay, but like that's a mistake in thinking, right? Like to gamble on the player left to act folding rather than clicking all in. Assuming that the fold or call is a greater frequency play than the click all in on a straight completing card after he overcalled flop, I think is a pretty big parlay. So I think like a lot of Matt's one pairs probably start to play a lot more conservatively here. Especially facing check raise and then a big bet into a multiplayer field. It's not like I'm devoid of good hands here.
No, you're not. It's just B20.
I would agree with you more if the turn were like a queen.
I mean, is it not just a pot odds thing?
You're talking river again.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a pot odds thing, but like you have to remember that there are two ranges where action can get reopened. It's not just if we were all 8,500 effective, my hand would never fold.
But if it
no hand would fold,
if it gets reopened, you always lose. Like that's for sure.
Yes, with a set.
Yes.
But not with range. So it's like, of course I have an easy decision with a set of threes, but how often am I just torching it? It's the same as like Matsu with ace 10 on the turn or king 10 on the turn. It's like, sure, when Ralph jams and I 3-bet, he's always folding one pair. But like, what frequency does that happen where we can no longer call 75% pot turn bet when this is a potential outcome? You know, this is the tricky part of multi-way. You can't look at it statically of my range versus this range as if we're closing action. We're not, right? It's a lot like big blind defense in that regard. Or not big blind defense, like in position flat call defense.
Well, does this mean that you should construct your range on the turn that puts Ralph all in?
That's a reasonable question. But I don't think so, right? Because like it's good for me for him to reopen the action. It's just good for my range as a whole. Right?
Well, I mean, your range that check raise and then bets the turn is going to be extremely equity dense.
It's just going to be polar. It's going to be very polar.
You're just going to have a straight or a set or like some two pair maybe? I
don't think I have
like
two
you have three
here.
deuce?
No. I mean, yeah, but I on this board I probably would slow play it.
Sure. Because if you put him all in, the worst hand you're going to have is like a pair and a straight draw and a flush draw, which I've already said has 1,000,000,000% equity from multiple podcasts ago.
Well, no, I would have some other hands too. I think like I would probably
like wait, can we go back to the board?
I would still bluff like 5-6 here, which isn't very equity dense. If I have like 5-6 of hearts, I'm just rifling it here, I think.
Well, then that's kind of an issue too, right? Because now if you bet that hand and then Ralph goes all in, You have a pair in a gutter.
Yeah, but that's okay because I still have equity. Like it's only 8K more to me, and I get to shut Matsu out of the pot. I get to deny an entire range of equity.
Why? Why can't he just call behind?
Because I would re-raise.
But what if he has enough flush draw?
I mean, what's he gonna do, man? Like, if it goes 8K call, Ralph jams for 16, and I make it 27,000, he's just gonna yeet it with nut flush
He's not
draw?
gonna yeet it. He might just call.
It's pretty hard to call. I mean, yeah, maybe I would have
you
to.
guys are deep enough.
We're not though. The
Yes,
SPR would be less than 1.
It would be like 80K behind.
Yeah, but he can just
Less.
make enough.
No,
flush.
we're 100 after I bet the 8.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
So
you
it'd
can
be like
fold
70,000
You definitely
behind.
can't fold enough flush draw because he might just
There's
win.
only one to come.
Yeah, but he can just like river the wheel.
I mean,
like he has enough equity. He might just like. I don't think you can fold this hand.
The wheel might just be dead though.
Yeah, I think like.
But you'll figure that out later in the.
You're not going to peel with a 20%er facing bet, raise, re-raise. Like, you're just not.
It just depends.
If he has ace jack of diamonds, he's just like not going to call overcall whenever I 3-bet the flop. 4-bet the flop.
You're in a real shitty
4-bet the flop.
3-bet the flop.
3-bet flop.
Ralph jams, I reopen the action for now like 2x pot. Or 1.5x pot, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm just going to deny equity there, and I'm going to get to over-realize hands that have no business. Like, I think I do have to have bluffs because of Ralph's stack.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I agree with you. Like, you're not really bluffing too much here.
If your range is 2 pair, not even 2 pair, if your range is set or straight, you're going to have like set or straight with then like other blockers and have some equity. So it kind of makes sense to put Ralph in, sort of.
On turn?
Yeah.
No, it's a big overbet.
But you're also deep with Sue. You want to stack him.
Yes, I agree with that, but I don't want to just like let him off the hook.
Is he getting let off the hook if he has enough flush draw? Like, I don't think so.
If I bet pot and a half?
You could win a big pot against you. I don't think you can fold that hand. I don't think the machine will fold enough flush draw there. If you have bluffs as well, because like he can just do well against your bluffs enough. Where you have 6x of diamonds, or like 5x of diamonds.
Sure, he pills the nut flush draw. Okay, fine. Now we, say Ralph just folds, which he would have. Now all of a sudden we're at a weird SPR on the river of like 3.
Yeah.
Now I have to play like a third of the deck.
You got a bad river.
No, but there's a lot of bad rivers. There's a lot of one-liners. There's a lot of diamonds.
A lot of diamonds.
There are.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I don't know. So you maybe I don't know. Check the turn.
Checking, I think, is viable. But again, I think it's too good of a range card. I would have checked like Broadway cards, and then attempted to potentially double check raise, or just like see what happens if I don't think Sue ever goes for a big bet.
Or do you just bet a size that doesn't leave Ralph with 20%? Is that the issue?
I think betting half a Ralph stack here is very good.
Yeah.
I think only good things really come from that, especially because it's a really good size for the pot too. It's like 75%, which on this particular card is really nice. It's a range card for us.
But like, I guess we keep
talking
the SPR
about
like,
deep enough where like bad rivers aren't going to totally fuck us. We can still just check call.
Well, I'm like going back to this whole thing with like if Matsu continues, which is going to be pretty unlikely when you go for big bet, but you also commit Ralph. On average, Sue will fold, Ralph will call. But if they both fold, that's fine
I don't
too.
think that's true on this card. I think Sue's range has a lot more equity based off the fact that Ralph just overcalled twice on the flop. Like he clearly has a hand like what he has, like a 5-4 type hand or bad diamonds.
Ralph, yeah.
Yeah. So I think like Ralph calls often when Sue folds, but I don't think that Sue folds more often than Ralph.
Yeah.
So maybe by that metric, it makes some sense to bet like 12K, but then you run into this weird thing where like when Ralph does jam for 4K more, you don't get to reopen the action. That's kind of shitty. And now you have a weird SPR where it's like now you've created this 2 SPR spot. I think that's like maybe that was like my biggest concern is that we're so deep on the turn still.
Well, maybe the flop check raise should be bigger.
I don't know that I can go much bigger on 10-3 deuce.
I mean, you're very polar, right?
I get that, but like
I just mean like if you make it a size where like you basically put Ralph in on the turn,
I just don't want to make it a size where I'm putting Matsu in a spot to start folding one pair.
It's probably pretty nice. I mean, in theory, that is, right? Like, if you make a 10 indifferent off the rip, that's pretty good for you. And because you're saying that you have, like, big combo draw or a set. You're not check raising 10x here.
No, probably not.
So, like, if you're repping sets, you can probably go really big. I get it, though. It's weird.
But then you play a $250,000 pot versus a set of 10s and only a set of 10s.
Okay.
Well, right?
Sometimes. It's hard to get then fold tree like Wapo.
Well, I'm going to. No, I'm accepting.
I'm still sticking to that, by the way.
I'm accepting of the fact that I'll play a $250,000 pot versus 10s. I just also want to play a $250,000 pot versus other hands.
He can still have some. I mean, if you're making like over pairs are probably supposed to be indifferent too.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, I guess he can like start making some calling errors if I'm.
Like,
I check raise a full pot versus 2 opponents. Like, that's pretty fucking big.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about it in like retroactively in the sense of like, how do you want to get Ralph's stack that doesn't make you deal with this situation?
Right, and I'm saying that I think we're trying to solve a problem that's really rare. I think that, like, in spite of the fact that I'm now retired, and it's all thanks to Ralph Wong, I think that, like, it was a very special parlay that had to happen where Ralph is both bluffing and neither myself nor Matsu has a flush. Like, I think that that's a pretty rare occurrence here on the end.
Yeah.
And though I do agree with you that my hand should be a call, like, now that we've kind of like worked out the way that I should range play river, which should be range check and then call with hands that allow Ralph to have bluffs. Basically, any hands that allow Ralph to have bluffs, I should play call. So obviously flushes, because I don't care if he's bluffing or not at that point. And then obviously sets and 2 pairs. I should be calling with all of these hands because they open up Ralph's 4x range to be jamming, right? So those hands should just always auto call, and then I should just like mix with straights, right? Sometimes call, sometimes fold. Who knows? Who cares? Like, maybe if I'm check raising 6-4 off and I have a diamond, like, it's a call. If I have ace-4 off with the ace of diamonds, it's a call. Like, you know, mix that way. And then fold some of the times because you're, again, like, playing for a pretty big parlay here. But I don't think, I think it's a mistake to just like call all value on the end because we're getting a really good price when Matsu is still left to act behind and we just don't win the pot. Because the pot odds motto is that we win the pot against the range we're calling against at the right frequency, right?
There is a chance that Sue has deuces.
Very low, I think.
I mean, I just mean in the sense of like, there's a world you fold, Sue calls because of the price.
Which should have happened here with 10-5, right? Like, I think Matt makes the bigger error. He has no range left to act behind. 10-5 is a much easier call.
I mean, he doesn't think he's beating value and he blocks bluffs like 5-4.
Same thing with deuces.
Deuces
right?
doesn't block that much value.
It doesn't block that much value.
Or bluffs, sorry.
Right. But like 5-4 blocks one combo. It's only 5-4 of hearts.
But we think his range is very narrow to begin with.
I agree with you. I'm not. But he doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to deal with the parlay any longer.
No, he doesn't.
Right? Like that's the difference. Being the monkey in the middle here, you have to deal with the parlay of effects.
You got sandwiched.
Right. I'm not just calling to beat Ralph's range. I have to call to beat Ralph's range and then gamble that I also am beating Matsu's range.
This is why multi-way is tough.
It's tough. If this isn't like a clear indicator of how difficult multi-way pots are and why more people should attempt to play them. Well, let me rephrase.
And why people should or shouldn't.
Should. Absolutely should. If you're the best player in your game, you should play as many multi-way pots as possible.
There's a lot of spots that are very, very difficult when you are trying to make someone have a tough decision when they have a lot of equity. Good example being like board comes 10-9-3 and it goes like bet from the button and then you raise small blind and then behind you like they have some sort of weird gutter backdoor and they're like, I don't know if am I supposed to call this? Like I could be dead, but I could make a straight, you know? So it's this weird in between of trying to force someone to be very, very mad.
Right. And to be clear, I think I already said this. I think I already said this, but if I didn't, I want to reiterate. This is a very good bluff by Ralph.
Yeah.
Like, he knew what he was doing on the turn. When he took all that time, it was to calculate, could I win the pot uncontested some of the time on certain rivers, right? Because, again, I don't think he's getting the right direct odds. It's really, really close. And, yeah, you could just, like, lazily throw one in there. But the fact that he's going to get the opportunity to bluff rivers, specifically river diamonds here, at some frequency, it's a parlay worth taking because he's only risking like 22% of the pot.
Yeah.
Right. So he only needs to win with this bluff like 1 in 5 times. And maybe it doesn't win that often, but it's a risk worth taking to compound the pot odds that he was being laid on the turn when he chose to call with an open ender. Right. Because here's the other side of it. He's going to get stacked a lot on a 5, or he's always going to get stacked on a 5, I should say. He's going to chop or lose on the ace of diamonds, 6 of diamonds a lot of the time. He's going to chop or lose on a non-diamond ace, non-diamond 6 some of the time. Not always, but like at least some of the time. So there's a lot of risk that is coupled in to him putting the 8,000 in on the turn. And the way to mitigate that risk is to actually have a fucking bluff in an unbluffable node.
Yeah, and he's not risking very much to do it.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing.
It's not like he's going to
the downside, right? The downside risk here is so low where he got to scoop up a 42K pot.
30K.
Uncontested versus a set and 2 pair where he had 1 pair and a busted draw.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's a beautiful thing. And like, I think that this is so fucking, like so much fun to analyze when it comes to multi-way spots and how difficult they are and why it's why bomb pots are so incredibly fascinating to me. It's why stand-up game is so fascinating because like all of these things, like we're talking about the machine, no, you can't fucking run this.
No, these are monkey wrenches.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, ranges aren't balanced any longer. Like they funnel in certain ways and you try to operate as best you can on your assumptions, and sometimes people break those assumptions, and it's really good for the game. And you know, especially when it sends me into a dungeon somewhere where I'll never be heard from or seen again. Who doesn't want that on their fucking resume?
You're not wrong.
2 people have retired me now: Ralph Wong and
Roger Sipple.
Rob Young.
Oh, what about Roger?
Roger Sipple didn't retire me. I fucking busted his ass later that session. He just took a picture of me at my down bad moment. What's $1 million between friends?
No, between friends.
A small loan.
Small loan. He gave it right back.
Love to hear it.
Me and Marcus chopped them up. We're not going to talk about the Sean Perry thing. What are we talking about? Nobody cares about Sean Perry. He's an idiot and a liar and a scammer. Like, why would we ever give any credibility to anything that he's saying? Also, I don't even think he said anything yet. We've gone on long enough. I need to get to Florida, where I'll be setting up shop in my new retirement home. I'm gonna pursue elderly pickleball. I think that's my calling. The 50 and over league. I really think I can handle myself well there. That's gonna do it for us for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. By the time we get back on Monday, we're going to have a lot to talk about as the main event will be culminating in its final table. Looking forward to having you guys all here Monday morning, 10:30 a.m. Pacific. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tick that bell so you guys get notifications for when we go live. Sometimes we're a little bit off on the time, but we appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll see you guys all Monday morning.
Later, squad.
Peace.